done. Hello my loves, welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. We are at the end of an era. I finally finished the main component of the tarot deck. So, what does that mean? Let me rewind a little bit. If this is your first time here, I've been working on a tarot card deck for the last 2 years. I have a playlist down below if you want to catch up with the full project. If you haven't seen the progression for quite some time, I want to invite you to rewatch it all, and then you can catch up with each individual card, the whole process, the evolution. So many things have changed along the last 2 years, so I want to strongly implore you to go watch that and catch up. 2 years worth of work. After 2 years, I have finally finished 22 paintings of the Zeke's Arcana Major Arcana element. So in tarot there are the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. I have currently finished the major elements, which are kind of like the main stories, and then the Minor Arcana is more like a playing card deck, although there still are individual artworks that need to be made over there. But this is the very last card that we are working on in the Major Arcana. It's really nice to finally close this chapter and begin anew. So what is in this video? Just to manage some expectations, there is a lot of painting, but there's more a lot of discussing the mindset of how I went from the original Wheel of Fortune card to what I ended up with, and I kind of explain the process along the way and show you why I chose specific elements and why I chose to edit out other elements. And you know, by watching my process, hopefully that helps you decipher and design future artworks that you are working on. Before we head into the video though, it is Zeke-tober. This is the very first time we're doing Zeke-tober. So it's a bit of a tradition in the art community to do such, and earlier this year I did another prompt list that you guys also participated in. Again, I will have those videos linked. This year the prompt for today is horns. Here's my sketch. I'm doing very quick, under an hour drawings, and yeah, if you guys want to see more of that process, comment below if that's what you want to watch and see how I'm going with Zeke-tober. I just want to let you know that that is running and we're officially here. Let's get into the video. Okay, hello everybody. All right, we are at the very last card. This card has gone on quite a journey. If you're new here, what I normally do with the tarot cards, sometimes do a couple of thumbnails in a sketchbook, and then I'll take a photo and then pop it into my iPad and sketch from there. I find that because there needs to be so many edits and lots of tweaking, quickly erasing things, just general drafting, I find that the iPad is just the quickest place to do it. So I'll show you an example of what the thumbnails look in a sketchbook first, and then what they look like sketched up on the iPad, and then a final one so you understand the process that we're about to embark on. This sketch here is for the Fool. By the way, if you want to see everything in this sketchbook, I have 3 videos up, part 1, part 2 with a commentary, and then just a general flip through. I'll pop those in the link below. I just go through all of the sketches a little bit more in depth. But here is the initial sketch for the Fool. I knew I wanted to do a lady that was, you know, leaping off from a cliff, and her body language really needed to look like it was photographed or captured in a moment of movement. So that's the initial sketch there. I then took a photo of it, traced it out, and then also sketched up and then finalized the sketch over here. So now you can see a little bit of the evolution between everything. And then once I sketch this up, I'll print it out, trace it onto paper with a light box, and then paint it. And that's the whole process. It's a very lengthy process. You know, for future artwork, I'm probably going to abandon this process because this process worked for me, you know, the last couple of years, because I was really learning and trying to skill up. But now, since we're at the very last card, yeah, I wanted to celebrate by showing you process that I will not be doing anymore, but the process that has been going on to get to this stage. Now that you understand what we're doing, the card that we are drawing today is Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune card, I don't believe I did a thumbnail in my sketchbook. I kind of just drew this very quick rough idea idea. I knew I wanted to do some kind of disc. Hang on, let me show you the original. So this is the original Wheel of Fortune card. It's the very last card that I am doing in the Major Arcana, which is very exciting. It's finally coming to an end. Well, this chapter anyway. As you can see, I've left this card to the very last minute or I've left it to the end because it has a lot of elements. I have just been very turned off by center medallion wheel. I think a center medallion like stiffens up a piece a lot, and also there's 7 characters. All the other cards that I've seen, the reinterpretations and reimaginings of this card, I've seen have, had a very similar composition. For me, I honestly can't do this composition. I'm just not vibing it. It doesn't fit the rest of the cards that I've already made. Having like a big center stiff medallion wheel in the middle. I'm just not vibing. So I've been very lost on what to do with the card, but because the card is all about being up and down, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, it's just kind of a luck of the draw. For me, I wanted to do like a whirlpool maze almost, sucking in all of the characters. So that was the general idea, but when I started drawing, it just wasn't happening. Let me go through what I kind of drew up already. First of all, I'm going to make all of the characters on each corner. Now this will be a little disappointing for some people, but I have to make all the characters on every corner. I'm going to simplify them and turn them into a simple symbol of a coin with the astrological symbols on them. I know this will be a little disappointing for folks because they want to see as many characters as possible, but unfortunately I just feel like it's really heavy, and at the scale that I'm painting at, it's not gonna work. It just ain't for me, dog. If I was painting at like triple the scale, I'd be more than happy to put in more characters, but at this scale the faces become tiny little dime size faces, and I'm not about it. Work smart, not hard. Okay, so the dog character is Anubis here, and I was attempting to put a sphinx somewhere around here too. I couldn't work it out, and I was just not vibing it. It just felt like everything was very placed, and you weren't getting that like whirlpool sense where like everybody is being sucked into the void of fortune or misfortune. It also has this snake here. I can't quite remember the symbolism of the snake, but I like snake symbols. I have placed a couple of snakes already in the other cards, so I wanted to keep that going. So that's one interpretation, one initial draft that I worked on, but because I just wasn't vibing it, it just felt like everything here wasn't a central character. All of my artworks kind of revolve around a central character, you kind of need your protagonist to hold on to. So again, another reason why I found this particular card really hard to connect with, because it has 7 equal protagonists and it's a difficult card to redraw. This was one draft that I am going to ditch. I have been really vibing with the labyrinth, this idea of almost this like objective evil, it doesn't even have a consciousness, it just is there, and it's a nice symbol of luck, for me, makes sense in the card. So because I need a central character, it's honestly the thing that I'm gravitating towards the most with this deck. I've been sketching this card for weeks now because I've just been so stuck. If it weren't for this project, I would have ditched this idea long ago. I wanted a character to look like it could go either way. So somebody who was rich, who has just lost all of their fortune, or somebody who is stealing, a pauper who is stealing the fortune. So I like this idea of like, have they just lost everything or have they just gained everything? It could go either way. Because the card needs Anubis and a Sphinx, I tried putting in a dog face, but it honestly just creeps me out in a bad way. Sometimes my art creeps me out in a good way, and I just wasn't vibing the dog. This is what I'm up to right now, and this is what I have to try and, finalize and finish. I think I'm just going to, put in a face in, just finalize the elements that are in there. The snake is in there, but at the moment it feels a little placed. I think I just need to wrap the snake around ever so slightly. I do like how snakes sometimes, they're almost not attached to the ground when they jump, and they look really strange and amorphous. So that was kind of what I was trying to go for here, but I think it needs to be wrapped around the disc labyrinth a little bit more. What I'm left with is this character here. I think what I'm going to attempt is put lavish but tattered clothes. You know, going again into, is this a person who's just lost their fortune or somebody who is poor who just received fortune? Yeah, it's I think putting in some clothes can add a lot of character and a lot of storytelling, so I'm going to attempt to do that. And what I'm going to attempt to do with the clothing as well is add like Sphinx and Anubis. Going to attempt to put them somehow in the clothing. Oh, and there's also another variation that I haven't shown you. Let me get it up. I tried a female Sphinx person in the clouds. This was the vortex idea that I was trying to go for, you know, really using the scale of the coins to push that, but it's just weird and bleh, I'm not vibing it. Let's draw an experiment. I might draw in my sketchbook to warm up. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I just sketched up a face that I will now transport over to the iPad. I'm going to take a photo of it. The mouth and stuff and a couple of proportions are a little wonky, but I think this will do for now, and I can also clean it up digitally. Something going on with the mouth. I find these foreshortened lower face angles really hard to draw because everything's really hidden. But yeah, gonna do that now, and let's pop the face onto the drawing. Hello everybody. Okay, so we've drawn up the gal. I'm pretty happy with her face and her hair. Added a couple of accessories. I tried putting in some tattered clothes, but they just weren't quite translating. I think having the accessories and having her be nude with a bunch of accessories, I think still portrays the storyline in the piece. I gave her one shoe as well, which I thought was like, she's either clamoring to hold on to the jewels or, you know, trying to take the jewels and accessories. I put an Anubis knee pad on just because I thought, I don't know, I really like interesting accessories. I think they really add a lot of character to a piece, so wanted to add that on. So that was one version. The feedback I got from my tarot card partner is that the angle of the wheel looked like it was, you know, tipping over a little bit awkwardly, and also the snake is a bit weirdly placed. So with that said, I changed up the wheel. It's a little hard to tell the difference, but you can see here the wheel is propped up a little bit more, and then I intertwined the snake in and out of the wheel a little bit more, which is great great because the more elements of the wheel being covered, the less I have to paint. Painting the snake is a lot less work compared to the wheel. Then I also added a Sphinx tattoo as well, just to try and get all of the elements crammed in there. Yes, it's not the traditional way that you would view Wheel of Fortune, but yeah, I think it's a really cool original take on the card. So I've printed that out, as you can see here, and just going to put that onto watercolor paper to start the painting process. Okie dokie, everybody. Well, painting that ring was incredibly tedious. It's so intricate and so small. I'm honestly just so happy that this is the final tiny painting that I'll be painting. Excited to go into bigger scale acrylic paintings once this one's done. I think the ring is looking good so far. Yeah, on the home stretch now. I think the order that I'll try and go in is finish the snake, and then I'll finish this little tattoo, then the coins, and then finish her up. And then we'll see how I am by the end of the day. But then there is also a couple of like blue clouds that I need to add in as well. But it looks to be that I may get to that tomorrow. But yeah, not much else that I need to report on. Just that I'm really honestly just over it. I'm really dragging my feet with this piece. Although I really obviously love the piece. I love the colors, and especially how the golds and the purples are complementary colors, as well as the greens and the pinky reds are all complementary colors as well. So the colors are working really nicely together, and yeah, I'm really pumped on both of them. I think it's really cool how these two cards are next to each other in the major arcana. I have worked it out so a lot of the pieces do feel like they have twin cards or a pairing of sorts. I just feel like this card to me really represents karma, and then this card is justice. So, you know, the two of them work really succinctly together, and I think they just make a really nice pairing of prints eventually. Okay, continue painting, and then we can wrap it up. You guys, I can't, it feels like a marathon. I feel like I've honestly just run a marathon for the last couple of years doing this project. Honestly, just happy it's all done. I finally don't have to paint these ridiculously small paintings anymore, and I can just move on to, you know, really wrapping up the project and getting a move on with actually printing the deck and then also doing the Kickstarter. There is a lot to catch up on with the actual direction of the Zeke's Arcana tarot deck. I've been tossing and turning whether I need to do a video about that because there is so much information. I'm honestly unsure about how to disperse that information because it's so hefty and it's not exactly something that people would want to click on and watch. But if you have suggestions of how I should tell you guys what the next phase is, yeah, let me know. It's more of a very niche thing that you guys may be watching and you might not be subscribed for that reason. So let me know if you want a little catch up on the next phase of the project. Okay, you guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like if you got anything out of this video, any value out of the video whatsoever. In between videos, head over to my Instagram so you can participate in Zeketober, and also head over to the Facebook group so we can all chat and discuss your artworks and, you know, get little tips here and there in the art group. And if you want to support the channel, head over to the Patreon where I give direct advice to you guys about your art creations, and also it just helps fund the channel and also helps fund my art. And lastly, if you want to grab any art prints from the Zeke's Arcana tarot deck, you can head over to my shop and do so. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!